What's going on, everybody? Riley Welch, owner of 92 Social, and welcome to the 92 Social podcast. Today is a huge day. I have Robert Pillarin from Arcade1Up with our major announcement of gaming cabinets. It's one of the biggest announcements in 40 years. It's huge. I got a great conversation on deck, so let's see it.
What's going on, everybody? Riley Welch here with Robert Pillarin from Arcade1Up. What's going on, man?
A lot of big things, especially for us here at Arcade1Up.
Awesome. Well, this is an exciting podcast. It's an exciting announcement. As everyone knows by now, there's new cabinets available, new gaming cabinets. How major is this for Arcade1Up?
This is huge. So for all of you out there who don't know yet, this is the first time in almost 39 years that Miss Pac-Man's been re-released in an at-home format. So this is huge, especially for the team at Arcade1Up. There's been a lot of time and a lot of effort going into making this cabinet, and we think you guys are just going to love everything we've done with it.
Awesome. So from your experience, what is more popular, Pac-Man or Xmen? Because they're all included in the new wave, the new announcement, right?
That is correct. So within these fall announcements, as you've mentioned, we do have Xmen Vs Street Fighter coming out alongside of Miss Pac-Man. Both are very iconic titles for the 80s and 90s. But in my opinion, they have different demographics. That is very true. Miss Pac-Man is a great game, very, very well known, and it's very generalized. Everybody can get behind it, young, older, doesn't really matter. It's a great title, it's got a lot of fun, and it's really fun to play through. Well, X-Men, for example, is more of your fighter cab. So what I mean by that is, for those people who really want the experience of playing with your favorite X-Men characters from the original IPs, this is your opportunity. And not only that, but there's other great games on there as well that really let you dive into that universe of X-Men and Capcom, which is huge for us.
That brings me into my next question. Back in the day, I used to play Buck Hunter and the shooting game, which is really, really awesome. You kind of touched on it with the different target markets. How do you guys go into the announcement, and do you guys kind of go into saying, all right, so we got this market covered, we got that market covered, or was it just, the best of the best games?
Well, that's what we do. We bring the best of the best to our community. And what that means to each member of that community is always different. For some of those people out there right now, Miss Pac-Man is like everything they've ever been waiting for. And for others, X-Men or Big Buck are one of those titles. With that in mind, we're always trying to reach out to our customer and see what do they want to see. A lot of you guys out there have been really getting onto our social media, asking us, when is Miss Pac-Man going to come? How are we going to get this? We want something with light guns, which brought us into the world of Big Buck Hunter. So we're always looking into these things. There's a lot of research that goes behind it. We're talking about trends. We're talking about what are the biggest titles that our consumers want to see, and how can we bring it to them in an at-home arcade.
So staying on Buck Hunter, and that's being the first shooting game that you guys have released, was there any other shooting games being considered?
That's a good question. We're always considering multiple titles. Our licensing team is very well vast in everything that's going on. They're always having conversations with different licensors. A lot of these conversations are long-term in the sense that we have a lot of great capabilities. We're just trying to do it within a timely manner. With that in mind, we do have some ideas coming forward, and we're really excited about them. But Big Buck is our first send-off on that, and we couldn't think of a better title to do that with.
Awesome. And can we get an official date?
Well, officially, we don't have an announcement date as when they'll hit retail just yet. But for all of you out there, you can expect it for the holiday season. So come around that time, get your gift bags ready, get your carts ready. They're going to be ready for you then. So Christmas, you're going to have that gift under your tree, and you're going to love it. Whomever plays this game is going to love it because we did a great job. And I say that because our team really spent a lot of time looking into this and getting that functionality set up. And I think once you get that light gun into your hand and you really start playing with it, you're going to experience that all right up front.
Awesome. That's great to hear. So what kind of prep did you guys do before this historic launch?
Well, there's a lot that goes into it. Our licensors, our partners are very well connected with us, which we love. We love our ability to be able to collaborate with them creatively, get a lot of their ideas, see where they see their markets. These are the people who know their product, know their IPs better than anybody else. So when we go to do these iconic launches with Bandai Namco Entertainment, with Play Mechanics, with Marvel, with Disney, we make sure that we get as much of their input as possible. Because when it comes to their products, no one knows best.
Oh, right on. Yeah. So, like you said, it's pretty much almost 40 years since the original launch. What took so long for this to happen, and what was the deciding factor of saying, okay, it's almost 40 years, it's time to do something? Like, what was the deciding factor to make this thing come together?
Well, in terms of Miss Pac-Man, there's a lot of considerations there. A lot of people who follow Miss Pac-Man and the trend around it really understand the fact that this is a very iconic title. This is a coveted title by everyone. Everyone meaning the consumers want to see it. Everybody wanted to see Miss Pac-Man for so long. And because it was such an iconic title, we really wanted to make sure that we did it right, that we went through all the proper channels. And we are very grateful for the connections with Bandai Namco Entertainment. They have been very courteous in helping us through this process to make sure that when we did come out with Miss Pac-Man at Home Arcade, it would be the best format of it that we could possibly make.
Okay. So what's next? What are the next steps for Arcade1 that they could Arcade1Up can do, or what can the fans expect going on?
Well, there's a lot to expect from us. As everybody knows, we are one of those people that if you're not watching us, you're going to miss something huge. Especially with this launch that we just did with IGN Summer of Gaming, we are always on the pulse of what's coming next. And with that in mind, we're taking all the feedback that we get from our communities. We're taking feedback from what's happening in the industry as well, and we're turning it into what Arcade1Up thinks comes next. So a lot of what we discussed, we're looking into what people want to see and how we can do that for them. So we have a great team behind us, from product development to licensing to selling these products through to retailers. We know exactly what we're doing. And let me tell you, with what we've done now and what we have coming, we are just blowing away everybody. You can't stop us. We're on the
You
road,
can't?
that's for sure.
No way to stop. That's good. That's good to hear. And for the fans, I know it's a diehard industry where the fans are constantly waiting for new updates, new things that are coming out into the public. So how can people get, I know you mentioned that it's coming near the end of 2020, near Christmas time. How can people get their hands on the new cabinets? Because I know it's a huge thing for people to, get it for gifts or just get it because they love it. So
Completely.
Always challenging trying to get these products, and just to make it easier for the fans, make it easier for the people that love what Arcade1Up is doing. So how can they get their hands on these products?
I'm glad you mentioned that. So the best way, the very best way to get in touch with our products and to keep up to date with what's going on with us, www.arcade1up.com. Everything you need is going to be there. The fall releases we just launched will be there as well. The product pages will allow you to sign up for a notify. So what that will do is once these cabinets become available for pre-order, you'll be the first to know. So you get that order in right away, and then next thing you know, you're mashing X-Men with your dad, your brother, your sister, your uncle. Everybody's having a great time in no time at all.
Beautiful. Wow, what a quote. So you're saying that your fathers, sons are playing. So what is your favorite game? What is that one game that you're excited to play?
Well, for me, I'm a huge Pac-Man fan. I love the IP. I love everything. Miss Pac-Man was huge for me as well. Being a retro video game enthusiast, being a video game nerd or connoisseur, I guess you would say, I love all of that. But for me specifically, Miss Pac-Man was a huge deal. Seeing that come to life within my own career for that respect was huge. I never thought that I'd be able to work with such an amazing brand, and then to be able to work with Miss Pac-Man on top of that, it is really a moment for me. I remember being a kid playing Miss Pac-Man at my local bowling alley. I used to play Big Buck Hunter, much the same as yourself. So seeing both of those titles, anyways, coming out at the same time, it was a big moment for me. And now seeing the response from our community and a lot of those people having the same interest and enthusiasm, it's like Christmas to me right now. Everything just happened to drop at the same time in a perfect moment, and I'm enjoying every second of it.
That's awesome. Do you that's awesome to hear how there's feel good stories, success stories. Is there any stories that you can think of on top of your head that it was one of the yeah, we're doing something right, we're doing something good, we got a good feel good story from one of your products? Is there anything that you can think of at the moment?
Oh, completely. And to that extent, every day there's something through social media or someone who reaches out to us with a really good moment saying, hey, I just played this game for the first time at a Walmart or wherever the case is, and it brought me back to my childhood. I felt for those couple minutes that I was in that nostalgic moment, and I can't thank you guys enough. And even more than that, recently we had a Twitter post go viral from one of our fans. Her son woke up on his birthday to an arcade unit, and he just went fanatic. And having those moments where you have millions of people engaging with that post is not just about the reach, it's about the message. It's really the excitement of seeing that child's face. And he might be 8 years old, and he really, really was excited. And it really empowers me to think, even the younger generation, they're just as excited as myself. They're just excited as Scott Backrack, our CEO, or David McIntosh, our PR and marketing director. These guys live and breathe the brand, and seeing that even the younger generations are really living and breathing the brand and the retro industries being brought back to life through them, it's really awesome. And when you see that through social, when you see that through correspondence and emails and everything else, it really shows you that we're doing something really good, and it's helping impact the next generation to really appreciate that.
So going off of that next generation feel, have you noticed the same enthusiasm or the same passion for the old school games, or are they more into the newer games, or like is there a mix of both?
Well, there's a huge retro market out there, and we at Arcade1Up and we at Tastemakers, we are large thinking. And for us, working in the retro space is amazing. Like I mentioned, it really brings back that nostalgia of working with these iconic brands, these iconic titles. And people of all ages, of all lifestyles, when they see Miss Pac-Man or they see NBA Jam or they see Golden Axe, or they see these iconic titles in a format that they can now own, it's amazing. And I say that with all honesty, because when I'm personally going through our own social feeds, there is so much positive content of people sharing this with their children, sharing it with their friends. And especially now, in a time where social distancing and community gatherings are at such a hard place, it is so nice to see that people are taking that opportunity to say, hey, I'm stuck inside. We have a Pac-Man machine. We have a Burger Time machine. Let's make that a family time. It's not just me playing a video game on my couch through my TV in an isolated situation. Now I'm able to interact with my family in a way that kind of gives that board game night a whole new revolution to that.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic to hear. So what's in the future for Arcade1Up?
Well, a lot of great things. I won't go into details just yet.
Oh, come on.
I want to.
I know you do. I know you do.
I would love to sing from the heavens all the great things that we do and all the amazing things that are coming forward. But all I can say is keep your eyes open for Arcade1Up, because like I mentioned, if you close your eyes for one moment, you might miss a lot, because we are constantly looking at new things. We are constantly being on the pulse of what's happening. So what's next for Arcade1Up? You tell me. And I mean that to the fans. I mean that to our community. We're listening. So keep providing us those great content ideas, those great ideas of what you want to see come. And who knows? Maybe the next cabinet could be the one that you've always wanted. I really think that's the case. Perfect.
So how can people reach you guys? You guys have, I know you said you have socials, but like, it's your time to plug away. How do people reach you online?
Well, if you want to reach us through social media, if you want to be engaged through our communities, through our platforms, Arcade1Up. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us through Twitter. We are constantly on Instagram. And I want our fans to know that we are always listening. There's a lot of engagement, a lot of great engagement. We see it all. We love it all. And I want to say personally, thank you to the community, because this is what gets us excited. When we start the morning and we see that people are really getting behind what we're doing, that's what drives us. All the comments, all the titles that you guys want to see, we're working on it. We're trying to be what you want us to be and how we can make your experience better. So every feedback, every message, I've personally read some of them, and it warms my heart. I love to hear the enthusiasm. I love to hear the personal stories. It makes the day so much better when you hear that someone bought a Pac-Man machine, or bought a machine of ours, or bought a countercade and brought it home, and now their wife and their kid and everyone around them is just coming together over our product. It makes me really happy to see that.
Great. So at this point of the podcast, I always ask my guest, again, on top of your head, because this podcast is all about connecting people to companies and time that we're in and really growing the community in Canada. So is there any spot or any that maybe you got a few friends, businesses, or do you want to shout out anybody? It could be just a coffee shop. It could be just anywhere. Do you want to shout out a few people on this podcast?
Yeah, for sure. With that in mind, there's a lot of good people behind this. There's a lot of people that I would love to shout out. Yourself being one of them. 92 Social has been a great avenue for us. It was really a great conversation to be able to have this with you, especially just on the end of our greatest announcement, to have all the press out there really supporting us, having 92 Social yourself supporting us in the way that you do. It's really great. And I could be here for an hour, 2 hours, possibly listing off every great person specifically and company specifically that helped us grow and helped us get here. But my main shout out is going to go out to the press. It's going to go out to our community because you are the ones who are supporting us, getting our messaging across. It's the 92 socials out there. It's the person with that cabinet who just chooses to go on Instagram. Those are the people that I really want to shout out to. They might not be the small businesses. They might not be the business owners, but for me, they own a part of our business and they've been a big part of our growth and our success.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Rob from Arcade1Up, for coming on the 92 Social Podcast. Like you said, all the socials will be down below, all linked, all easy for you to access. And thank you again. And yeah, man, thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me, Riley. Us Canadian guys got to stick together at the end of the day.
Oh, you know. Oh, you know.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Take care.
You too.
Thank you, Robert Pellerin from Arcade1Up, for coming on the 92 Social Podcast. It was a great conversation about their huge announcement that took 40 years. Go on, check their social media. It'll be down below. And while you're doing that, make sure you check out the 92 Social Podcast on the streaming platforms, on Google Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcast, as well as YouTube. We got a great laundry list of episodes for you to binge watch over this quarantine. So make sure you check that out. And with that being said, we'll see you next week. Take care.